They are good at beating the better teams.
Right.
Now, if you look at the league table last season in League One, Portsmouth finished top, Derby second, Bolton third, Peterborough fourth. Wigan beat every single one of them away. Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And this weekend, Birmingham City continue their League One campaign with their second home game of the season against Wigan Athletic. And in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to be previewing the game, talking about Wigan, maybe give some ideas of the team that we think will be selected, and just give our general opinion. So, Wigan Athletic, Matt, any initial thoughts?
So Wigan have actually got off to a slower start than I actually thought they would have, and they've really been struggling to find the back of the net. And they've only scored once this campaign so far, and that was an own goal at home to Crawley last week with a 1-0 win. And that didn't really tell the full story. I did actually see a bit of the Wigan-Crawley game, and Crawley had loads of chances, lots of possession. They just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah.
Really interesting here, Dad, in terms of their possession stats over the two of the games, right? So they lost to Charlton 1-0 in their first game of the season with 65% possession, and they beat Crawley with only having 27% possession of the ball. I mean, if that doesn't highlight the whole, possession stat myth around, not being able to put the ball in the net, and, it doesn't mean anything unless you do anything with that possession, does it? So really interesting stat, I thought, because me and you talk quite often, don't we, Dad, about Chris Davis, possession football, and then we talk about Eustace sometimes and how sometimes the low possession can win your games. I wouldn't be surprised when Wigan come St Andrews if we do dominate the ball. I think we will have lots of possession like we always do in games recently, but teams like this are quite dangerous because all they need possibly in games like that is a couple of chances and they win. So as I say, it's encouraging for Blues that they're struggling to find the back of the net. I thought they got off to a better start, but it's one of those things, isn't it? Wigan, Leyton Orient, they're dangerous teams to play because they have to sort of get that momentum and turn their campaign around at some point. So I have no doubt the manager will be sending the same messages as Leyton Orient: win your individual battles, fight for every ball. And I think they'll try and make it as difficult as they can for us, won't they?
Yeah. Well, firstly, you stole my stat. I was going to go. I was going to go on to possession. I think that's really important. I mean, you said 28. I've got 27. It doesn't make any difference. It's only the percent. But they had very minimal possession in that game against Crawley, yet still come out 1-0 victory. I think also as well. I think I can explain. You talked about their lack of goals because I've highlighted that as well. 1 goal in 3 games, but
an own goal as well.
Yeah, and basically the reason for that is that their top scorer last season, Stephen Humphrey's got 11 goals. He's not with them anymore, and I couldn't find anywhere. He just said without a club, so his contract must have come to an end, and they haven't renewed it. Okay. But he had 11 goals. Josh McGuinness, he got 10 goals. He's been sold to Exeter City. Charlie Wyke, he got 8 goals. He's been sold to Carlisle. So they also sold a centre-back, Charlie Hughes, to Hull City for 4.7 million. So basically, they've lost a lot of firepower and lost a good centre-back as well. Yeah. And I think that explains why they have lack of goals. And they have brought in some loan transfers. Just as a few highlights, they brought in Calvin Ramsey as a right-back on loan from Liverpool. I presume he's there to replace or fill in for Charlie Hughes. Luke Chambers, they've also got him from Liverpool. He's another centre-back. He's on loan. Toby Sibic, a centre-back from Hearts. Michael Alakibji, he's on loan from Brentford. And Tyrese Francois, he's on loan from Fulham. They have got some others as well. They're the top 5 I could see. So basically, I think that the reason they've had a sluggish start is that they've got rid of some of their better forwards. And their best centre back. I mean, to go from Wigan for 4.7 million in League One, he must be a decent player. That Charlie Hughes.
It's a lot of money.
He's gone to Hull. So obviously, you can see why they potentially have been struggling because they've already got to try and somehow find the goals from all of that's gone. Their next best top scorer that's actually left with the team is a guy called Thilo Asgard. He's got 8 goals, and then behind him there's numbers of 4s and 3s. So they haven't got any really what you classify as prolific goal scorers. And I think that explains why they have struggled so far this season.
And also, they're not getting hammered either. It seems to be 1-0 swings either way. A couple of results there. I mean, I'm sure you're going to go over those 3. Do you want to just share those scores?
So they started off at home to Charlton, and you can with Charlton, it's 1-0. That was in the way. That was a late goal as well. Charlton scored. Then they in the Carabao Cup first round, they drew with Barnsley and then went out on penalties 1-1. They lost 2-0 away at Reading. and then they've just beaten Crawley 1-0. So there's not loads of goals in those games in either for or against. But it really highlights your point, Matt, about the fact that they are struggling to score goals.
I mean, I saw a couple of goals that they conceded, Wigan, and again, I remember saying this on the Reading preview, in that the amount of space that the players have had to score their goals, and again, they seem quite prone to individual errors. I've saw a couple of goals. There's been a couple of loose balls, a couple of slips, a couple of unforced errors really from Wigan. So I think they've been unlucky in some games, but that's something that we could exploit for Blues. And I've noticed as well, their two highest players, rated players this season so far is Jason Kerr and Will Aimson. That's their two centre halves. They're putting in really good performances at centre back, but they're still allowing teams to get plenty of balls in the box. They're still losing lots of aerial battles in the box. And if you look at the Crawley highlights, if you get a chance to have a look at the Wigan-Crawley game, Crawley were in the box left, right, centre. Headers gone wide, headers gone over the bar. And I thought that was really interesting to think of their highest rated players, but they're still getting dominated in and around the box, and especially in the air. And I think that's a sign for Blues. If we can be a bit more direct, get some balls in the box, actually cause them some problems, we could do okay this weekend. And Dad, me and you talk about Blues and we talk about having that directness, a bit more of a final end product, creating more chances from open play. I think we're definitely going to have to up that in our side of the game if we want to break through the Wigan team this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the fact that you said the two centre-backs get the highest rating tells you that they're busy to get and then obviously being put under pressure. And that's sort of borne out really by the possession stats you gave against Crawley. Just some characteristics of Wigan. A couple of strengths. They're creating long shot opportunities. That their class is very strong at taking a long shot. So we have to be mindful of that. And also as well, they're strong at protecting lead. Obviously, these characteristics will be going into last season as well. Weaknesses, finishing scoring chances, defending against skillful players, aerial duels and avoiding individual errors, and it says here, very weak at defending against through ball attacks.
Yeah.
So that tells us a little bit about Wigan. What I thought was really interesting, because obviously it's hard to judge this season. You can look at their 3 games, which you've already spoken about. I always look back to what did they do last season, because that gives you a bit of a gauge for the overall way the team played, even though, as I've already said, they have lost quite some decent players. But what I found really interesting when I looked at to Wigan is that they are good at beating the better teams. Right. Now, if you look at the league table last season in League One, Portsmouth finished top, Derby second, Bolton third, Peterborough fourth. Wigan beat every single one of them away.
Really?
So basically, so Wigan won away at all 4
That's
of the top 4. And also as well, they won home and away against Bolton, home and away against Peterborough, and they also won at home to Oxford, who finished 5th and eventually got promoted.
That kind of sounds like the Blues syndrome. We tend to do pretty good in big games and games we're not expected to win, and then we tend to lose the games we're expected to win, don't we?
It's something to be mindful of, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
because obviously they're going to see us as a team that's going to be near the top of the league. So if they've got some form of a mindset or attitude or style of play to play the better teams, that's for us to be very wary of, because that's a really good record. I mean, I don't think when I look at future opponents, I'm going to see much, because it goes green when you've beaten them at the top. There's normally a lot of red. Red is lost, and there's a yellow is a draw, and then green's a win. So normally with the opposition, you normally find that the results for most of them, apart from the top teams, there's a lot of red, but there's literally the top 5 is virtually completely green.
Wow.
So, and that's a surprise to me when I looked at that as well, because they started off well last season in League One. They started off, won a few games. They won 3 of the first 4. Then they had a really, really bad run, and then they finished actually quite strongly as well. I think they finished was it 12th in the table, which is interesting because we're going down the league. We played Wycombe at 10th, Leighton Orient 11th, and now we're playing Wigan who finished 12th. But they only lost 1 of the last 8 in the league. But as I say, I think that the issue,
some players are.
This is it now. I think that the point I was going to make exactly is that it's all right looking at that record, but you take that firepower out that they've got rid of, and it doesn't appear that they've actually done anything about or replaced it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough test, like every game's going to be in this league. But again, I know we say this in every podcast. It's weird, isn't it, Dad, being a Blues fan this year, going into every game feeling relatively confident or very confident that we can actually get 3 points.
Yeah.
And I do think we are going to have a bit too much quality and firepower for Wigan, if I'm honest. honest, especially from what I saw at the time of recording at the Fulham game last night. We fair enough, we lost, but we really were passing it around incredibly, weren't we? So
It was good. It was good to be there
football.
to watch that, because I think that you see the results. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. You think, they're a Premier League team, but they played a strong team. We played a strong team as well, actually, but they played a strong team. So we dominated large parts of that game, and we passed the ball around really well. I mean, you wouldn't tell a difference if you were to look down and not know what division those teams in. You wouldn't think that there was any in a different division.
Someone put on X, if a Martian happened to drop on Earth and not know anything about football, and they were watching that game last night, you wouldn't know that those teams were separated by 2 divisions.
No, but it was just
that's football.
It is football, but I think there's a lot of encouraging signs from Fulham. Obviously, we're not going to do that, go into depth about Fulham, but Blues fans will know by now. But with a good performance.
The point is that it was very encouraging, and if we can replicate that sort of style of passing and passages of play, I think we'll do okay. I still want to see us create more chances from open play. I think we're struggling to. I mean, we are doing really nice a build up, nice play. Nice passages of passing out from the back. Some passages were beautiful, but I want to see more open.
I remember it was one instant last. So I was looked round at you actually. I didn't need to look round. I heard you because I think was it Williamson and Roberts, Tyler Roberts went through, and you just said shoot, and they just messed around with the ball, and we ended up passing it, and we lost it. But they were in a position which they're inside the box where literally either of them could have took a shot, and I think that's what you're getting at, isn't it?
I think I need to throw my hat on the floor. I was literally screaming.
I think everybody else was as well, and I think that's what you're getting at. Is it's just better decision making in that final,
more clinicalness as well, more ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Let's start testing the keeper. I mean, I was encouraged. We actually had a few shots at distance. But anyway, that was the Fulham game. So should we get into the Blues game, Blues team? Sorry, that we expect to start.
Well, just so that you're aware of the sort of thumb for this video or this podcast is Davis's selection dilemma, because I think now with all the new players that we've brought in, I think he's got a bit of a job now to decide what his starting lineup's going to be, and I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are on this as well. So we'll do what we normally do. We'll go through the team from back to front, and give our thoughts on each position. So starting at the back, then in goal.
So, already a curveball thrown at me, I think, on straight away. So, I love Allsop's distribution. Every time he's been on the pitch,
he was brilliant against Fulham.
He was brilliant against Charlton. Yeah. Every time I've seen him, he's so confident on the ball. He's so calm. His distribution's great. And I'm not saying Bailey Peacock-Farrell's done anything wrong, or from the Orient game. I'm not picking on that. All I'm saying is Allsop's distribution and his level head and the way he plays can't be ignored. And for me personally, I'd like to see a swap this week. I'd like to see Allsop in goal.
I would as well. After the Fulham game, I was watching Allsop, and he's so precise as well. I mean, every goalkeeper will do the odd stray one, but his completion of passes must have been in the 90%. And he looked comfortable on the ball as well. I agree with you. I don't know what the Blues fans think as well. I think it's worth giving Allsop a shot at starting. And again, I've got nothing overly wrong with Bailey Peacock-Farrell.
Same.
I just think that Alcott looks a little bit more comfortable. I think he's done enough to get a shout. I'm not convinced that Chris Davis will swap it, by the way, but I'd like to see Allsop in between the sticks.
If Bailey Peacock-Farrell is the keeper, I am more than happy with that. I think he's a brilliant keeper. I am absolutely not complaining. I just think Allsop, for me, is a bit more calm and collected on the ball in his delivery.
So we both agree it should be Allsop. But
I'll tell you what the difference is with Allsop, right? So Allsop did so many good passes. I only remember one bad one. And bless you, Ruddy, I'm going to call you out on this one. But Ruddy did so many bad ones. I only remembered the one good one. So it's that difference in distribution and passing, isn't it? So for me, I would like to see Allsop get a start.
I think so. That's we both agree on that. So right back.
Laird. It's got to be Laird.
I think so as well.
I think he needs to get his final delivery again. Yeah. We're banging this drum permanently about
He's
Laird.
improving. He's improving.
I thought he had a really good game against Fulham.
Yeah, he gave the ball away a few times, but then so did every other player at certain instances. But I think he's getting more. He's getting more used to the system now. Chris Davis. He's getting up for. I think it will be Laird as well. Yeah. Okay. What about left back?
It's got to be Cochrane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that penalty decision was a farce, if I'm going to be honest. No way he could have possibly got the way of that.
But I saw it obviously because we were behind that because we was in the Tilton, weren't we? So obviously we only saw it in real time and it was really, really fast. But I did watch it back on the highlights. And he did handball it. But the thing is, the ball was shot at such pace. There's no way he had chance to move his arms out of the way. I mean, so I don't see how the referee could give that. But it was Keith Stroud, and it's Keith Stroud. Let's move on.
I'm going to put a black screen on the podcast cut out just when you say Keith Stroud.
Let's just move on with that because that's just really frustrating. But so we both agree that it'd be Cochrane.
Big challenges, good player. I really like Cochrane. He's up there with my favourite signings.
Yeah. Okay. So what about centre halves?
Again, for me, it's got to be Bielek and Clara.
Yeah, obviously Sanderson's injured anyway, so he won't be featuring anyway. And obviously we've got Ben Davies as well now as a backup as well. So we might see him on the bench possibly.
Yeah, we might even see him get some minutes soon. But I think with the way the season started, Bielek and Clara have got that chemistry.
Yeah,
now.
I think they're best.
I wouldn't change it.
The more I see Clara, the more I like him.
Very physical, isn't he?
Yeah, again, he's not immune to the odd mistake as well. Bielek as well. He's just. I just love I turned around to you, didn't I? Say, look at Bielek shouting at the ref.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying like shout at the ref as in be abusive. He was questioning things, and we didn't get that last year. We said that we needed a captain to do that. Now Bielek's doing it, so fair play to him.
Have a guess what his pass percentage was against Fulham?
120%.
98.
Yeah. Was it really?
That's
98?
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. So definitely be Clara and Bielek, we think.
Yeah.
Then we go into midfield. Let's do central midfield first.
Oh, it's got to be Paik and Leonard.
Yeah,
I feel like they make us a Rolls Royce in the centre mid. They are just two quality players.
I don't see how, even though we've got now Gardner Hickman as well, who's in there as well. I don't see how you can drop those two.
Their quality.
Yeah, Paik is getting better and better, you know. And again, I've said this for every player. He's not he's prone to the odd lapse and mistake, but the quality of the way he breaks down play and his passing is very, very good.
At the minute, I like the fact Paik doesn't want to hold on to the ball. He just wants to get rid of it in a positive and constructive way. He wants to break the lines. He wants to one-touch passing, very fast, very sleek, gets balls in the box. Massive fan of Paik. And then we have Leonard, who provides us with a bit of bite, a bit of snap.
Yeah.
Breaks up the play.
Excellent.
He's just superb. I love Leonard.
He's a quality signing. I really like him. He's everywhere.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
So I think we both agree that's a fixed central midfield partnership at the moment.
Yeah.
Of course, this is all subject to whether he will rotate the team, but on the basis of the strong team he selected against Fulham, I think he's going to pick a strong team again. Yeah. There's no need to rotate.
So I'll bounce these ones off to you, Dad, because I've done the first ones. What are your thoughts? We'll start on the right side of the midfield, attacking mid.
Right, so we've been Anderson has been playing there, hasn't he, as well? Well, he may have a niggly injury. I read today. He came off after about an hour. If he's fit, I think it'll be Anderson. If not, it'll be Miyoshi, I think. On the right.
Same. I'd like to see Anderson start. I think he's earned his place still, and I think he's having a really
good season. It depends
on
that because at the time of me doing the research on this, I'd read that he hadn't been really assessed yet in terms of what he's done.
Well, we saw it. I think it was in the second half. He went bolting down the wing and he cut in and it looked like he'd pulled something in his back. He looked very uncomfortable. Yeah. So I noticed the ball went that way and Chris Davis had his eyes locked on Keshi Anderson, so he was looking at him to see whether he was injured or not. So
if he's fit, it should be him. If not, it'll probably be Miyoshi.
Yeah. So let's go the opposite side. Let's go the left side then. Left side attacking mid.
Well, this is one there where I'm a little bit torn now. Obviously, Hansen has been starting the first few games, but he's generally been substituted after about an hour. Don't know whether I'd like to see Yokoyama from the start.
No, I'm going to go a bit more confident on that. I'd like to see Yokoyama get his start. I think he's earned it. I think the two games he's came on so far, he looks dangerous. He's fast.
Yeah.
He offers us something a little bit different, I think. And don't get me wrong, that's not me saying Hansen's done anything massively wrong here. I think Hansen's a quality player. He has been a little bit ineffective in certain parts of games, but definitely a talent there. But for me, I'd just like to see what Yokoyama's got from the start.
Yeah. No, notice as well that we haven't even mentioned Dembele, and I know that at the time of recording, the transfer window closes in a couple of days, isn't it? We're recording on Wednesday evening, aren't we? At the moment, but in a yes or no, will Dembele be sold?
Yes, almost certainly.
Yeah,
I mean, I have nothing to base it on. I just feel like we're getting such depth now.
Well, I'm basing it on the fact that he's not been picked in the squads, and also as well, we're interested in that lad from and again, it's only at the moment. It's nothing's confirmed.
Centre attacking mid, Dad, number 10. Who are your thoughts?
Well, Harris couldn't play against Fulham. Williamson played in that role. I think this is like toss of a coin for these two.
Agreed.
I think I like Harris. I like his energy, but I do like the physical presence. I think Williamson against Fulham was showing a bit of that physicalness. I liked it, which is what we need. So it really is edge of a coin type of thing. But I think I'd probably just maybe very slightly favour Williamson to start against Wigan.
Yeah.
But it's good if we've got Harris on the bench because he can always come on.
It's a good problem to have, and a flip of a coin. That sounds like a real casual thing, but it just shows how close it is between some of these. But I feel like Allsop and Bailey Beacock Farrell's a toss of a coin to some extent as well. It's that close.
Yeah, but not number 10.
With Allsop's distribution, he might be a decent number 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Well, Williamson or Harris. I mean, for the league, he might want to keep that consistency of Harris because he started the last 2 games in the number 10. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I just think that Williamson, he just started to put himself about a little bit against Fulham, and I think that's what I haven't seen from him so far, but I did, and that's what I think he's there for. But then Harris gives a different dimension of the pace, the energy and stuff like that. So they both give us something different.
Also, Williamson, Paik, Leonard, when they're high enough up on the pitch, I know I've said this a lot recently, Dad, I'd just love to see more shots. Yeah. Let's just keep being brave. Let's keep testing the keepers.
I also wonder as well, now that we've signed Lyndon Dykes, and that's been confirmed today, whether at some point he might be starting as number 10 behind who we both are going to pick, Alfie May, up front to finish the team off, aren't we?
I didn't know Lyndon Dykes had that in the can. I thought he was a bit more of a physical number 9.
He is, but I'd like, maybe with certain opposition, it'd be good to have the presence of both of those on the pitch, because one thing I've always said about, we lack that lot of physical presence up front as a forward, and he'll give us that as well. So I don't know what Chris Davies' thoughts are, but I think for this game, I think we might see Lyndon. He might be too early for me. Only signed today, only confirmed today. So I think it will be Williamson, number 10. And then Alfie May up front.
Okay. Just so we have a little bit of a bet and a little bit of a gamble going, I'll go Harris number 10 and May up front. So we'll see who's right. But again, flip of a coin, I think it could go either way.
Well, last 2 weeks I've been right, haven't I? Come on, admit it.
You have. Yeah, still trailing on the score predictions. But that's everything from me. I think it's going to be a tough game. And again, if you watched our score prediction video that went out yesterday, you'd have noticed that my score prediction was a 3-1 home win. But that's not a runaway 3-1. I think we're in for a game, and they'll make it difficult for us. And 3-1 Blues win.
I've gone 2-1, but I'll settle for 1-0. I'll settle for 3 points. If it 5-4 will do. But
own goal from Wigan.
But I have gone for 2-1. So that's what we think, Birmingham City supporters. We're obviously another interesting fixture coming up. It's nice to be at home again. We've our last 2 league games have been away, so it's going to be nearly. I don't think it's quite sold out yet, but it could well be sold out by the start of the game. So it's going to be another great atmosphere down there. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What you think about the game, maybe what you think about the lineup, what you think the score will be. Pop a comment below and let me and Matt know what you think. If you did like this podcast, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, make sure you pop over to our X page and Instagram page, and also Spotify. Now you'll find our podcast on Spotify, and you'll see the handles appearing for those on the screen right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. Also, finally, if you're a Wigan fan as well and you come across this podcast, great to know your thoughts as well about what you think about your team and what you think about the match. So add a comment below. Myself and Matt will then see you on the next video.